Let's talk about something we never really think about. For almost the entire history of our species, half of every single human life was spent in near total darkness. So what on earth did our ancestors actually do for all those hours? Well, the answer is going to completely change how you think about sleep, storytelling, and maybe even your own mind.
I mean, think about your night. You feel a little spooked, you flip a switch, and poof, darkness is gone. Now try to imagine their night. When the sun went down, the world just vanished. We're talking a blackness so deep you literally couldn't see your own hand in front of your face. And all the while, predators that could see perfectly fine were out there, hunting. This wasn't just an inconvenience. This was 12 hours of very real, very primal terror every single
And this wasn't some short phase in our history. We are talking about over 300,000 years. Every single person in your family tree, all the way back, lived this way. Our world of brightly lit nights? It's the tiniest, most insignificant little blip on the timeline of what it means to be human.
So, what was the big breakthrough? What did our ancestors finally figure out that started to push all that darkness back?
It was fire. Fire was everything. A simple campfire creates about a 30-foot circle of safety that predators just will not cross. But it was so much more than a shield. For the very first time, humans had usable hours after sunset. The day didn't just slam to a halt anymore. Fire didn't just change the night, it fundamentally redesigned the entire human day.
So, what did they do with all these new hours? Well, an anthropologist named Polly Weisner studied one of the last modern hunter-gatherer groups to see. During the day, their conversations were all business, logistics, where to find food, that kind of thing. But at night, around the fire, the talk completely transformed. A staggering 81% of it was stories, myths, and jokes. The campfire became the world's first theater, the place where culture itself was born.
And yet, this explosion of culture, it's only half the story. Away from the flickering flames, in the deep, quiet dark, something else was going on. Something was happening inside the human body itself, a biological rhythm that we've completely forgotten.
Okay, I'm just going to come right out and say it. You were not designed to sleep in one single, unbroken 8-hour chunk. The whole idea is a modern...
For years, a historian named Roger Eckert just dug through old archives, and what he found was incredible. Over 500 references to a completely different way of sleeping. And it was hiding in plain sight, in Homer's Odyssey, in 14th century prayer books, in court records, personal diaries, medical texts. They all talked about 2 distinct blocks of sleep every single night.
The pattern was always the same. People would go to bed not long after sunset for their first sleep, which lasted about 4 hours. Then they'd wake up for an hour or two into this quiet, calm period they actually called the watch. After that was done, they'd head back for their second sleep of another 4 hours. This wasn't seen as a problem. This was just
And get
sleep.
this, far from being annoying, this wake-up time in the middle of the night was considered precious. I mean, here's a quote from a doctor's manual from the 1500s. It says, "The watch is the best time to study and reflect when the mind is calm and the world is still." People use this time to think, to pray, even to visit their neighbors. It was valuable
What
time.
do we call that exact same pattern today? A sleep disorder. We slap a label on it, maintenance insomnia, and we prescribe medication to force the body back into a single block of sleep that it was never, ever designed
Now,
for.
this isn't just some interesting bit of history. In the 1990s, modern science actually put this to the test, and what they found was remarkable.
So in an experiment, scientists took people and deprived them of all artificial light. And just like that, their bodies naturally fell back into the 2-sleep pattern. But they found something else. During that quiet, wakeful period, their brains were flooded with the hormone prolactin, which is linked to feelings of calm and meditation. They weren't just awake, they had entered a unique state of consciousness, sort of a third state between waking and sleeping, that they all described as just profoundly peaceful.
So if this 2-sleep pattern is our natural factory setting, so deeply coded into our biology, where did it go? What could possibly be powerful enough to just overwrite hundreds of thousands of years of evolution?
The answer, in one word, is light. It started slow, a few city street lamps in the 1600s. Then it picked up speed with gas lighting in the 1800s. And then, 1879, Edison's light bulb comes along, and within a single generation, the night, as our species had always known it, was basically gone, erased. And here's a cool little detail that shows you our old relationship with darkness. You know the word curfew? It comes from the old French couvre-feu, which literally means to cover the fire. It was a nightly order for everyone to put out their fires and get inside. The night wasn't for productivity, it was for being still and safe. And that was enforced by
And the
society.
biological hit is just massive. Our ancestral cue was so simple. It gets dark, the brain makes melatonin, and you get sleepy. What's the modern cue? Staring into a screen at 11 p.m., blasting our eyes with blue light that actively stops melatonin production and tells our ancient.
But here's the most incredible part. That ancient programming, it's still in you. It's just dormant.
Researchers have found that if you go camping for just 1 week, no phones, no flashlights, no artificial light at all, your body's internal clock completely resets. You just naturally fall right back into that ancestral two-sleep rhythm, as if no time
think about
has
what
passed
that really
at all.
means. We didn't just change our bedtime. In our war against the dark, we accidentally eliminated an entire phase of human consciousness, that calm, reflective, prolactin-rich state that our ancestors got to experience every single night.
When you really step back and look at it, the trade-off is just staggering. We gained control and productivity, but we lost the stories around the fire, we lost a sky full of stars, and we lost that quiet, sacred window in the middle of the night. And what did we trade it for? A light switch?
So the next time you find yourself wide awake at 2 in the morning, staring at the ceiling, feeling anxious and frustrated, just ask yourself this one question. Is your body broken, or is it just remembering?